Hello, I'm Jess Ratty and we're back with another Back the Future Live, and this time we're with the wonderful Devon County Council. Back the Future is all about focusing a spotlight on creative and innovative projects in a bid to challenge global issues like the climate emergency, and we're here tonight to celebrate 3 epic planet positive projects who are tackling climate change right here in Devon. For those of you who are new to how the live works, these projects have been crowdfunding for 24 hours since this time yesterday, and tonight their valiant efforts come to an end and we get to see how they got on. And why are we putting them through this crowdfundathon? I'm going to just do a shout out for Georgia for giving me that word today. Well, this evening our judging panel will be selecting a winning project, the one to them that stands out the most. So on top of what they've already raised, our winner will receive an extra £5,000 in funding from Devon County Council. Thanks guys, and that's not all. The project in second place will receive an extra £3,000 towards making their idea a reality, and then in third place, those guys will be going home with an extra £2,000 on top of what they've already received from their backers, which is all pretty amazing stuff, I'm pretty sure you'll agree. Speaking of the backers, we're super lucky tonight to be joined by the wonderful backers of these projects. Give us a wave, everybody. Woohoo! There they all are. Yay! It's working. Tonight's crowdfunding is just the start of tackling climate change as we embark on a much larger mission to support great ideas and make them happen. And what's super exciting is that there's a further £30,000 in extra funding available from Devon County Council to projects and people and brilliant ideas who want to follow the lead of tonight's 3 hero projects. This is what we're calling the Back the Future Climate Challenge. To tell us more, we caught up with the brilliant Doug Eltham. We're here with Doug Eltham, the Environment and Sustainability Policy Officer for Devon County Council. Hi Doug, thanks for joining us.
Hi Jess, really pleased to be here.
I'm going to jump straight into this so that we can get some information out to the masses. So can you tell us a little bit about why we're here and about the Devon Climate Challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic way of distributing yet more money into the community for projects that are going to help address the climate emergency. So we've got an extra £30,000 available this evening for those inspiring projects to get local communities helping us on this journey to net zero carbon.
£30,000 for eco projects. That's pretty amazing. What type of projects are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for projects that are principally trying to reduce carbon emissions, but there's a whole range of projects that could come under that category. It could be things about promoting walking and cycling, it could be reducing energy consumption, maybe improving recycling, looking at opportunities for wildlife and local food and local produce. We'd really encourage everyone to add their project to the Crowdfunder platform if they think they've got a chance of getting some funding.
That's amazing. So we're looking for incredible change makers across the whole of Devon. And what do people need to do to get started on their crowdfunding journey?
It's really simple. All they need to do is go to the Back the Future Crowdfunding Devon website. There'll be a link on screen, and all they have to do is put 100 words in their application to show us how their project helps reduce carbon emissions, and then we'll be selecting the 10 of the best to take forward to the next stage.
That's brilliant, Doug. How does this fit into Devon County Council's wider environment strategy?
Right, well, we're part of something called the Devon Climate Emergency Partnership. We've got all the councils and some businesses and some local organisations working with us to try and get Devon to net zero carbon as soon as we can. We're putting in place a Devon carbon plan, and we currently have a climate assembly of 70 people looking at some really big challenges for Devon on that journey. Once we've got that plan in place, it's a plan for everybody. And what's been really clear while we've been putting that plan together is that communities are going to be key to helping people change their behaviour and seizing some of the opportunities that there will be locally to reduce carbon emissions. And that's where the Devon Climate Challenge comes in.
That's amazing. You're making so much of an impact already, and this is just going to add to it. And we've got...
Certainly try.
we've got 3 incredible projects that are going to be live crowdfunding, or they are live crowdfunding now, and it's going to come to a peak tonight. Have you been following their progress?
I have, yes. They're all really, really intriguing projects. It's crazy how much they've managed to raise already in such a short period of time. They've been crowdfunding since just last night, and yet the next set of projects, they're going to have 4 weeks to crowdfund their support. So I'm really excited to see what they'll be able to achieve.
I mean, having 4 weeks to crowdfund versus 24 hours is a pretty big bonus, but we're going to see how it's done tonight. And Doug, just one last thing. If you've got one message for these 3 crowdfunding projects that we're about to meet, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, my message would be, well, first of all, best of luck with getting the crowdfunding money in. But this is a fantastic opportunity for them to spread the message in their communities, get their projects underway, and stay in touch with us. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how well they do.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Doug. We will catch you later, and let's get crowdfunding. So, if you want to start your own project, all you need to do is go to the link that's now on the screen, and it's also in the description and in the live chats. Right, now let's go and meet the people who will be judging these 3 fantastic projects tonight. We have got Devon County Councillor, portfolio holder for climate change, Andrea Davis, CEO of Smarter Carbon and commercial lead for the Biosphere Foundation, Rob Passmore, and co-founder of the Totnes Re-Economy Project and local spark Torbay, J. Tomt. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here tonight. Woo! You're there, you're all there. Okay, right, Councillor Davis, we're going to come to you first. I think I can probably see you, there we go. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your role at Devon County Council, and what you're looking for in these projects? Oh.
I'm the cabinet member at Devon County Council. I'm recently appointed to a new role. I do climate change, environment and transport. I've been a county councillor for 16 years. I've just been re-elected. And for the last 16 years, I've also been a member of Exmoor National Park. And I've either been the deputy chairman or the chairman for 10 of those years. And I've just been re-elected as deputy chairman this week. So that's really good. I'm interested in the environment. In a big way. I wouldn't be that excited about the national park and protected landscapes if I wasn't. I live in North Devon. I live surrounded by incredible natural beauty, really lucky, and I represent, I would say this, the most beautiful part of the country.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you're looking for from the projects tonight. You've clearly got a massive interest in all of it, so they're all going to be fascinating to you, but what's going to stand out?
What I would like to see, and there's a lot of community projects do go on in everybody's area, but certainly lots of these groups do get in touch with me over the years and ask me if I'll help out. What I found that works best, if there's a really positive community engagement with all walks of life, so not just people that are interested in the subject, but wider than that. So some appeal that takes it across the whole spectrum of the people in the local area. Because I'm obviously the cabinet member, I'm looking for projects that can be easily replicated around Devon. So if somebody starts off doing something that's a really good idea and say Totnes, as we just already mentioned Totnes, I want to be able to see that replicated in all sorts of areas, not just urban, but very rural. And I suppose finally, I'd like to see some evidence that it supports Devon's climate aspirations. That's Devon County Council's, obviously it's our money. And so I would need to see that there is some sort of positive way that contributes to that.
Absolutely fantastic. So you're looking for scalability and money well spent, basically,
Yes,
which makes
absolutely
perfect sense. Okay, brilliant. We're going to head across to Rob now. If we can get Rob on screen, that would be awesome. We got Rob. Hey, Rob. Are you on?
How you doing?
Ah, there we go, Rob. Nice to see you. To see you, nice. It's so bad that I do that. Now, Rob, your career path is really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about why you made the decision to refocus your sort of commercial skills on environmental challenges and what it is that's going to rock your boat tonight with the projects?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone, thank you for having me. I have 25 years of commercial management, mostly in technology and marketing businesses. And I read a great book that I highly recommend called The Second Mountain, which is all about this concept of two challenges through your life's journey. The first being about self and your own kind of personal aspirations, and the second journey being much more about purpose-driven one. It had a bit of a profound effect on me. I started to do a day a week of not-for-profit work, and I've enjoyed it so much over the last 3 to 5 years. I've converted it to 5 days a week. So what I'm trying to do now is bring entrepreneurial, professional approaches to these emerging environmental solutions that we see coming out. So yeah, I spend a lot of time working with the UNESCO Biosphere in North Devon, and really trying to find solutions that hit 3 birds with 1 stone. And the 3 birds that we're really looking to hit are climate, directly addressing climate, restoration of nature, and job creation locally. So with regards to these projects tonight, that's what I'm really looking for, is solutions that kind of hit those 3 things. And I agree with Andrea, scalability and the ability to replicate these models, and having models that are commercially viable, so they don't need continual grant funding for their continuation, but have a viability through a self-funding model as well. It's really good.
Brilliant. Rob, that's absolutely fantastic. You're looking for projects that can act like businesses and be self-sustaining as well going forward, with, of course, a bit of extra help from the funding from Devon County Council and their crowdfunding. Okay, we're now going to head over to Jay. Do we have you, Jay? There you are. There we go. Jay, can you hear us? Yep. And can we hear you?
I'm right here. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I think we might have a slight delay, but we can totally handle that. Now, Jay, you've got an incredible background in green business. We've just been talking about that, and economics. Can you tell us a little bit about your history, your projects that you're working on in Devon at the moment, and what's the one thing you hope to see from tonight's initiatives?
Okay. I was an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley. Moved here about 10 years ago with my partner, and came to the conclusion that the reason we have these problems, climate change, inequality, loss of biodiversity and so on, is because of the kind of economic system we have. So for the last 20 years, I've been working on new ventures and other projects to try to shift the economic system. And for the past 10 years in Totnes, we've been doing that with the Reconomy project. We've helped to support 35 regenerative enterprises, and we're trying to do the same thing now in Torbay. And so what I'm looking for are projects that are going to leave a legacy, that are thinking strategically about what they're going to do next. And not just how they're going to engage people, but how they're really going to animate people to become citizens in the fullest sense of the word, and to become active too, because we're in a moment in history where we need everybody to be chipping in and doing things.
That's amazing, Jay. I think the one thing, just from speaking to the 3 judges, is that every Devon crowdfunding project needs you guys behind them, because you've clearly got such a wealth of experience. Okay, right. Thanks very much to our judges. We're going to be coming back to you shortly, and now it's time to meet the reason we're all here this evening, our 3 epic projects. First up, we're going to go and head to the let me say that again. We're going to head to the Earth Repair Shop, a community climate change advice centre in Ilfracombe, with the aim of helping families to live more sustainable lives. Woo! Here we go. Okay, we've got Sophia and Nettie. What an incredible project. Look, I can see you. This is so cool. Now, can you... Oh, I think we've got another bit of a delay, but we'll just... I'll just slow myself down a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about how the idea for the Earth Repair Shop came about?
20 years ago, there was a little shop in Ilfracombe which was about sustainable living. and it was quite successful in getting messages out and getting people engaged in all sorts of activities, and out of which we ended up with a community garden called Cow Green, which has been running for most of that 20 years. The shop itself folded through various reasons, people moving on and the like, in about 2010, 28 maybe even. But as we've become more and more involved with things like the climate movement, it seemed more and more important to have that put on the high street again, that place on the high street where people can pop in and talk, because not everything happens through social media. And there are people who want to find out about things and don't know how because they're not on social media. Also, because high streets are particularly bad places for things like recycling. So we wanted to get the recycling message across, the food waste message across, and be a convenient stopping off point for people to do, make things easy for people to take those steps which help to reduce their impact.
Amazing. That's brilliant. Okay, so we know that small changes can make a massive difference when it comes to tackling climate change. You know that pretty well. And in your case, you're providing a service to the community, but how important is it to you to have the community to back your project?
Well, it's essential. Ilfracombe, we're very lucky. Ilfracombe is a really tight community. There's also a lot of poverty, and at this point, with people coming out of COVID, there is this need that needs to be fulfilled. There is an opportunity to change people's lifestyle, to bring them closer to nature, to use the community to engage with them. And there are all so many benefits to changing their lifestyles, not least of all, reducing their household energy costs. But we have noticed since we managed to open our green doors, we're not where we want to be, but we have a presence on the high street, and that is the main thing. We've had people popping in, funny enough, of all age groups. Yeah. We're doing some immediate things like taking in hard to recycle stuff, but that's proven to be really interestingly popular. Just Tetra Packs and blister packs at the moment. But that's not our agenda. We are not a recycle centre, but we are taking this up to the recycle centre, and people are coming in, and that gives them an opportunity to engage with us. And then we can talk about other things that they can do. And we have 361 Community Energy using the shop as a base on a Wednesday morning to do a consultation, a free surgery for people to drop in. We've got other surgeries going on, other talks and events and workshops and creative stuff. But in essence, having that presence on the high street has had the impact, actually almost
energized. It's energized people.
It's even more surprising than we thought.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, really. The number of people who've come up saying, "Oh, what a fantastic idea! It's a sustainability shop. Oh, brilliant! Can I, get involved and stuff? I've got this idea for this," and the ideas that are coming through are thick and fast, and it's kind of difficult to calm down and take the list and all the rest of it.
I can just hear your passion coming through the screen at me, and the way that you finish each other's sentences is brilliant. You're clearly a really good team, as well as community providers of this incredible service. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much to the pair of you. We're now going to go and have a chat with one of your project backers to find out why they're supporting you. Do we have, let me just check, Yvonne. Do we have Yvonne here? There we go. Did I get that right? Oh, you're on mute, Yvonne. This is the most overused phrase of 2020 and 2021. No.
No, the host has unmuted me. There we go. Lovely.
There we go. That was me with my magic fingers, Yvonne.
Oh, it must have been, sure. Yeah.
Unagi.
Sorry, the sun is really coming in now.
Oh, you look great. You're sparkling.
Oh, yeah, that must be what it is. Sure.
Can you tell us why you've backed this project and why it's so important to you?
Right. So I'm backing this project, as I'm sure I'm actually talking for lots of people who are involved, is because effectively, everything is possible. So what we're saying to people is come into the shop, come with your ideas, and we're just going to make it happen. So we've got several projects on the go, and this is just from people coming into the shop. We're saying, what about this? So we're going to do beach is where it's art. So we're going to make beach art with rubbish that is washed up, to show people all the stuff that's washed up. We're doing, we're joining the nationwide thing, Stitches for Survival, which is where these people are making this giant scarf in all sorts of crafty ways. That's going to be 1.5 miles long, to coincide with COP26 in November. So we're doing that. We've got various crafty projects up for that. We've got a very great talk this weekend called Seeds for Change. And that is somebody who's come and said, oh, you know, I know about this. How about I have a little chat with people about that? And that's really exciting. We're also doing Ecomb, we haven't quite decided to the name yet, but we're going to try and show all the people who live and work in Ilfracombe which shops are environmentally friendly in which ways, so that to make it easier to choose where you go, where you get your takeaway from, where you go shopping. You know, can you bring your own containers? Can you, I don't know.
All of it. You've got so much.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, are they involved in the local community? Do they use local craftspeople? Do they employ local people? Those sort of things. So we're just going to make it so that people don't have to do all their own research. You can just see from the shop window, oh, this is amazing. This shop ticks all my boxes. This is where I'm going to give my custom.
Well, fantastic. You
so,
clearly...
and again, that's just another idea that people have just come into the shop and said, do you know what? I think this would be great. And that is why having a hub on the high street is absolutely essential.
That's just fantastic. You're clearly a massive support of the shop and also involved. And I love, again, I can hear your passion. Now we're going to, thank you so much for your time as well. We're now going to hand over to our judges for each of them to ask Sophia one question each. And then we're going to roll on through and let the judges get their questions across to our brilliant Earth Repair Shop project. Right.
Yay!
Yay! We're going to hand over to Jay first. This project must have resonated with you. Do you have a question for Sophia and Nettie?
Yes. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, we've got you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on Zoom all the time, every day. It's crazy. And usually I don't have that many problems from home. First, I'd just like to say you're all winners, all three of you. I pitched in some money to all three of you. You're all winners. This winner stuff, or who's the best, I think be nice to find different language for that. But I guess my big question for you is what's next? So, you know, behavior change is really hard. Engaging people can be really fun. But how are you going to make this really have lasting impact? What's the bigger vision?
Well, we're probably both gagging to jump in on this, but I'll just say that first off, it's about longevity. We need 5 years guaranteed on the high street, because if you know, these ventures come and go, and that's what this funding is about. But what we will be doing is
building on where we're at.
Literally building on where we're at, and it will escalate in a way that hard to explain. Nettie,
okay, lasting legacies, all right? Yvonne mentioned the seed talk that we've got this weekend. The purpose behind that is we want to build a seed bank for Ilfracombe, for North Devon, all right? What grows in North Devon, what works in North Devon or in Devon, and actually have a seed bank. I mean, food security is important, and that's one of the issues that climate change is affecting.
Yeah, and heritage seeds, actually, we need to look back at what's happened to our seeds, and this is why it's a kind of literally a seed talk, you know, that will grow.
Well, we just started, to be honest, so we're finding our way. At the moment, we've established the shop. We are measuring how much of how many, in terms of weight, the Tetra Packs that we collect. We're measuring how many blister packs by volume that we are collecting, so that we can actually identify the difference we're making there on a week by week basis.
And also, I'll just add that as a result of a lot of what we've been doing, our town council is now calculating its carbon footprint. Once we have that information, we can then look at how we help them to reduce it. What we're trying to do is everything we're doing, we're trying to make measurable. We can actually measure it and see where we are in 12 months.
And also the fact that, town council is quite important, because actually we need to be beyond just the shop on the high street. And in many ways, we can be a conduit for the town council too.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant, guys. And thank you, Jay, for your question. We're going to hand on over to Councillor Davis to get your question, if you're there.
Thank you.
There we are.
Hello, ladies. And this is really interesting, exciting. And I was pleased to hear Nettie say that it wasn't just Ilfracombe, that was across northern Devon. So you've sort of, in some ways, answered. I've got 3 questions, I'll be honest. It's very difficult, isn't it? Am I going to go with that one? Okay, so I'm going to go to the more difficult one, I think. You've got the shop, it's open. Where is your revenue stream to keep it going?
Right, at the moment it's different funding bids, because we've literally just started. But we are talking about possibly, charging for doing things like talks at some point, having a consultation type role, and we will bit by bit have things that we'll be selling in the shop, I think.
Yeah, we've already started. We did an art auction, loads, probably 40 or so local artists donated their work. We raised £850. We're going to have, these will keep going. We're going to locally crafted works that are already starting to be donated into the shop. So at the moment, the shop isn't actually a shop. It's not selling anything, but it will be. Somebody recently donated over 200 beautiful reclaimed tiles, which we have sold, and they literally went like hotcakes. That was married in with their cause, and a percentage of the revenue went to their cause, which is the Syrian refugees, and a percentage went to the shop. And it's the first time that's happened, and I think we'll be doing much more of that. We also, as you may have seen from the project, one of our local hero businesses, as I like to call them, TDK, came up and gave us a donation. We won't stop with that kind of, asking for assistance from local businesses. So this isn't over. As this is going to be part of our operation, is raising funds. We did a pub quiz before the lockdown. We did very well out of the pub quiz.
Yeah, so we do activities for which we charge. We do. I mean, we will be doing a lot more of those. Speakers who charge for speaking, and some of the revenue will be to us, and whatever. It's
well, there's so much. Sorry, I was just thinking we're going to have to move on quite without, and there's so many questions. I know that Councillor Davis, you probably want to ask all 3, but I'm going to be mean and not let you because we do have 3 other projects. Sorry to cut you off, ladies. We do need to move on. Please don't think me rude. And thank you very much, Councillor Davis, for your question. That's absolutely brilliant. Rob, can we hand over to you and grab your question, please?
My question really is, what difference will £5,000 as compared to £2,000 make to your operation?
That's a good question.
Well, if I may, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background to this. We all jumped in together. Many of us have jobs, so it's quite difficult to juggle it all. I have now stepped away because of the season, because I can't do changeovers and be at this. Anyway, we have someone now who's one of our backers. Devon has now taken over running the shop. But I decided that what we need to do is get the funding in the bank to cover our rent and utilities and essential costs for 5 years. That gives us a chance to really give it legs, to really grow. So that's our initial pot, if you like. There are other expenses, and there are things that we like to dream about. We would love an electric bike with a with a trailer on it. So with our earth repair shop high vis. So we take it up, all our recycling up to the recycle centre. And there are things that we care to dream about, but essentially we just want to stay on the high street, be a beacon of hope for people, not disappear like so many, because I think that's a bad message. You see something so positive disappear, that would be heartbreaking. Sorry,
Thank you.
that answered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To both of you. And you've answered the question so well, and we've all got such a deeper understanding now of the Earth Repair Shop, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. I think you're incredible women, and all of you. There's clearly a lot of people involved. We are now going to head on over to meet our next project, which is called the Greenway Project. Now we have, these guys are looking to lower our dependence on cars. Sorry, something blowing around my head. These guys are looking to lower their dependence on cars in the southwest by aiming to extend the Ray Valley multi-use trail, creating a strategic link for integrated active travel between the A38 and the A30. So do we have Nikki Hayworth here? Yay, there's more than Nikki, but that's great too. Now, can I just check that we can hear you? We've got you, that's good. Okay, Nikki, this is just an absolutely brilliant project. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do this?
Well, we're a steering group, so we've got the two communities of Chagford and Morton Hampstead. So I've got Morton Hampstead here and I've got Chagford here. And we, Rachel Short, who's been a member of Sustrans for years, was asked by Sustrans to look at getting a better route between Morton Hampstead and Chagford. And she looked at the existing route that Sustrans had suggested. It's just completely unsuitable for families and children. The road surface is terrible. The hills are steep. You couldn't take a family group along there. And the alternative is the A382. You certainly wouldn't, unless you wanted to end up under a white van, avoid the A382 if you're trying to ride a bicycle. So let's find a better way. And we were very lucky because Morton Hampstead had brought the trail through beyond Bogey Tracy to Morton Hampstead. So there was a lot of knowledge there that we could tap into, connections already made. And then we did a survey of Chagford. Over 1,000 people replied. We asked, do you want this to happen? And they said, yes, absolutely. COVID has shown us we're all too fat. Our children are miserable. We need to get on our bikes and out of our cars. And that's the motivation for all this. And we've been so lucky. I mean, working together has been so good. I mean, we all have different skills. Liz knows the farmers and she knows the landowners. She's been working with them for years. Alistair is a farmer. Here's another farmer, the Dartmoor shepherd. So we've been people with different skills, different interests, different life experiences, all working for the same thing to get, in my case, I'm a grandmother. My main motivation is I want my grandchildren to be healthy and happy and able to explore the world, get out of their car seats and get mobile.
I love your ambitions. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it's not just about saving the climate, but it's about saving the people on it as well from being fat and not being able to cycle. Now, I was going to ask, now you've all been crowdfunding for 24 hours nearly. How's it been going for you? Like, how's the crowdfunding feeling? How's the community responding? How are you all? You've all got smiles on your faces, so it can't be going that badly.
Well, we had a crowdfunder not so long ago to get together the money for Sustrans to do the feasibility study. So our local community has been very generous very recently. So when we asked again, there was a certain slowness about reaching for the wallets, but they've been very generous. So, you know, if we had more time, we'd have more money. And in any case, we will continue because this needs to happen. We have a climate emergency. We have a well-being and health and physical health emergency. This has to happen. The long-term plan, of course, as you said, is to extend beyond Morton Hampstead and Chagford take it on through to Oakhampton, where there's a new station planned, so you could have people leaving their cars there and able to bicycle into Dartmoor. So you could have more people able to access a national park. And the clue's in the name. It's a national park. People want to be there. They have a right to be there. We need to enable access without filling Dartmoor with cars.
Yes.
The bicycle is the way to do that.
Yeah. Brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And especially love, you know, our judges are looking for that scalability, and you've just nailed that on the head right there. Well, thank you for your time. We're now going to head over to one of your backers, Tabin Almond, who's going to tell us a little bit about why they've pledged on this project and what it means to them.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about your love of this project?
Yeah, I'm a local girl, 7 generations in Chagford Churchyard, and I know that cycling up and down some of the very steep hills isn't that easy. I also know that as a child I had a couple of pretty horrible accidents trying to cycle to Morton Hampstead on the 382, which was maybe not the most sensible thing to do. And I observe the number of children who are overweight, and I know I'm a counsellor and a coach, and I know the detrimental effect that physical ill health can then have on mental ill health. So I think that for the good of the people in our area, giving people more opportunity to get out and about is a really good thing, and to allow them to do that safely and in family groups as well. The second reason is the environmental one. These aren't in any particular order, by the way, but the environmental argument that, you know, there will be a lot of people who use this for leisure purposes, but I'm also really interested in making it easier for people to move between one village and another for town. I don't know what we call that ourselves technically, for work and for sort of social and things like that. And at the moment, we're forcing people into their cars or into public transport, which, with the best will in the world, isn't as frequent or as convenient as people might like. So we know that most people will jump in their car, and it would be great to reduce that. The third thing I wanted to say is I'm aware, you know, I am a farmer's daughter myself, I'm aware that there has been some sort of concerns raised by some of the farmers about setting a precedent and the fact that we're giving over agricultural land. I really, and you know, that people might behave badly and you might get dog poo or whatever. I just feel that these are really very easily overcome issues in comparison to all of the benefits that we would get for the community and the climate. So as a sort of, you know, erstwhile member of the farming community, I would just say I'm sure we can work those things out.
I love it. I think you're absolutely right. I've got to say, not to do a project because people might behave badly. I mean, there's a lot of projects out there that could be accused of potentially doing that. Thank you so much for your time, Tabin. You're absolutely brilliant. Okay, now we're going to hand over to our judges to question Nikki on the project. We're going to start with you, Councillor Davis.
Well, I think I'm going to go back to how do you think this is replicable across Devon? Because not everybody needs a multi-use trail. So can you tell us what the wider benefit is to the wider taxpayers of Devon?
Well, just as one instance, every time there's an accident on the road, that costs Devon a great deal of money, and the human casualty and tragedy is something we should do everything we can to reduce.
I think the other thing in terms of value for money, the Greenway project, we're not just creating a multi-use trail for enjoyment. It's also linking two communities. As a young person in the community here, running a business in the town and farming in the area, we're between two communities, Morton Hampstead and Chagford. There's 4 miles between us. We're actually quite close, but sustainable travel between the two isn't actually an option. And as a young person living in the area, I want to stay in the area and run my business in the area. To have the option of sustainable travel would be fantastic. So in terms of sort of a wider economic benefit, I think the Greenway project is far more than a multi-use trail. It's a thread that connects our two communities as they stand, but also a whole host of communities in the future. And obviously that has knock-on effects, not just in terms of business with locals going between, but it also brings tourists to the area. We're in the national park. Many of our community businesses rely on visitors. I know I run a shop in the town where we sell sheepskins on our flock of sheep. Probably 75% of our income is from visitors. So it's a really vital thing. I think the Greenway project is going to be a project for the future with a lasting legacy. So it is going to have far more impact than just being a multi-use trail.
Yes, if I could add, it's a template maybe for everywhere. I have a vision of an infrastructure being put in place whereby people are not forced onto the roads. People have alternatives, safe and environmentally friendly alternatives. And it's not just Morton to Chagford. It should be part of a much, much bigger network. And I know Devon County Council is actually striving for this. And it's really essential to provide that infrastructure if we're serious about reducing carbon emissions.
This is brilliant, guys. There's Councillor Davis with a very hard-hitting question, and there's you guys with some brilliant, actually really relevant, hard-hitting questions back. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Councillor Davis. We're gonna move across now to Rob, and you're gonna come and tell us what you would like to know about the Greenway project. How can you beat Councillor Davis's question? I mean, that's pretty hardcore.
I don't know about beating Councillor Davis's questions, but they smashed the answer.
Oh, didn't they?
That was brilliant. This is all for me about creating exemplar projects that can then be replicated elsewhere. And at a national level, there's so much work going on to push active transport onto communities, to actually have a community going, we're willing to put our own time and effort into creating this locally, is a gift. And we should do everything that we possibly can to support you guys succeeding. The one question I've got is, how much do you need to raise, and what is the deliverable from this fundraising that you're looking to get?
Okay, the immediate thing that we're raising for is to pay for all the ground surveys, the ecological survey, the topographical survey, biodiversity. All of that needs to take place before we can go into the design stage and then go for planning permission. So we just want to keep going after the funds. Sustrans has told us the next stage is another 35,000. So that's what we've got to do. So anything you can offer us will be very, very gratefully received.
That's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant answer. Very clear. So we've had a bit about the scalability, a bit about the funding. Now, Jay, what's your question for these guys?
Well, first of all, I'll say it's brilliant, and we need bike infrastructure everywhere. I've seen a study or two that says that building bike infrastructure creates more bike riders. So if you build it, they will come. So to me, it's a no-brainer to make it happen. I guess my big question is, what else do you need to make it happen? And what's your strategy for getting it? So get support from councils or landowners, and what can people do to help make it happen besides just give you money?
Well, we spoke to, in front of the scrutiny panel committee for Devon County Council, and they were talking about there were 25 aspirational communities, all wanting cycle trails, all being told form an orderly queue. I mean, the councillors were desperate. They really were wanting to make this happen for us all. What we're seeing is you've got sections of trail being done all over the place. Then you create overuse in those small areas. You create pinch points. You have people having to drive, park, and get onto the trails. We need to work to link up all the trails, create a network. That's what we've all got to be thinking about. And the network, there's an all-party parliamentary group. What's marvelous about this is not unique to any political party. Everyone wants this to happen. The government is putting forward all sorts of different funds. I know that Devon and West Devon, they're all applying for funds. We need to show them that this is what the communities want. And we're just trying to make this project as shovel ready as we possibly can, so that when the funds are available, we're ready to roll.
That's amazing.
I think you also need,
carry on, Jay.
We also need to remember, you know, what do we need? We need the community to work together. We need the landowners to work together. I'm really optimistic about that. From a farming perspective, at every turn at the moment, my farming business is being encouraged through the shift from the Common Agricultural Policy to help integrate visitors and local people into the rural environment. So I think the Greenway Trail is spot on the mark at the moment with what we see coming forward for rural areas. This is the future of rural areas, inviting people into the communities and enjoying the countryside. So, you know, I think we need everyone to work together, and I think that's happening, and I think that's only going to get stronger as rural communities are set to, you know, we're set to open our doors more, which hopefully will bring a whole host of benefits.
And I think that everybody in and around the Greenway project is very lucky to have you. You're so coherent and clear on what you're wanting to do. And thank you, Jay, for your question. We are now, well, I mean, I was just going to say, it's actually going to be really tricky decisions tonight to look at the distribution. But as Jay said, you know, everyone's a winner. And actually, you're right, Jay, we do need to change that, how we do that. Brilliant. Right, we're going to go ahead to our last project. We're going to move across to Sustainable Tiverton. Right now, the last but no means least, woohoo, these guys are close to opening a sustainability hub in the centre of Tiverton, where they're going to demonstrate the reality of climate and ecological emergencies. And they're also going to be highlighting the need for an urgent and effective response. So we are going to head on over to Claire. Yay, there you are. Hi, Claire. I can nearly hear you. There you are. I've got you. Claire, this is another incredible project with community as its driving force. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey so far?
Yes, so we're Sustainable Tiverton, and we've been around originally as Sustainable Villages, from the villages around Tiverton, and then we grew bigger and started to involve the town and became Sustainable Tiverton. And we are really a group of groups. So we have lots of subgroups that do various things. So we do a repair cafe, a surplus food cafe, a community fridge. We've got beekeepers, we've got a tree team, a plastic free campaign. We do give or take events where people share their pre-loved belongings. And we do apple pressing and all sorts of other stuff, talks and films and anything you can think of.
That's amazing. It totally sounds like you're like in the middle of this network of amazing projects all happening around you. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of them should be adding their idea to the Crowdfund Devon campaign after tonight. And you can help all of them as well. So what would you say your hopes for the future are for the project through this particular crowdfund?
Right, yeah, so we want to set up a hub in the town to actually have a building, and we've been talking to the Mid Devon District Council about getting a venue for that, and that's going well, so we're hoping to have a venue for that. And what we really want is a sort of place where we can where people can come, can share ideas, can learn about the climate change and the biodiversity crisis, can come up with ideas and solutions. The hub will also provide us with a base for all the things that our groups are doing, because a lot of them involve equipment and moving things around, and some of them need a venue, and we're often moving from venue to venue around town, which makes things quite complicated. So having somewhere to store things and put events on will make just such a massive difference.
Brilliant. And how have you found crowdfunding? 24 hours of madness. How's that gone for you?
Yeah, it's been 24 hours of madness, that's for sure. So it's been really exciting and exhausting, but it's been one thing has been, that I've really felt is that it's just shown how amazing all the people who are volunteers with Sustainable Tiverton are, because they've just jumped in and got stuff done and got the word out there, and they've been fundraising galore all day. Absolutely brilliant. And also it's shown us just how much support we have in the town, like the local shops, the local people. They've just all been saying, this is a great idea, go for it, we'll do what we can to help you, and that's been amazing.
Oh, Claire, you've made me feel a little bit emotional. This is what crowdfunding does. It brings out the best in so many different people. I'm like, oh, I know how it feels. Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Claire. We're now going to head across and speak to one of your project backers, a chap called Steve Bush. There you are, Steve. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Now tell us, why did you back this project, other than probably loving it as much as we're getting the vibe?
Well, I think one of the issues that we have, and we're going to have going forward post-COVID, is regeneration of our town centres. So to have this scheme inhabiting what is quite a large empty commercial unit in the town centre, which was formerly a supermarket, is going to make a big difference in terms of bringing people back and revitalising our town centre. And I think the economic impact of that is not without its significance, and that really is one of the most appealing prospects for me, certainly. I think that this can be a really vibrant of sort of information and contact, and for all the groups that make up Sustainable Tiverton to really engage with the community and thrive and really, make it a vibrant hub that will bring people to it and will give people information and generate more and more ideas. I mean, so many of the projects that we've heard from already tonight are the kind of ideas that are already being bounced around all over the area. And I think, this will bring those ideas together and bring those people together to generate further ideas and to revitalise our town centre as well.
Amazing, Steve. Thank you so much. I can feel your passion, and I love the fact that you're already talking about other types of ideas as well. Now we're going to head back to our judges. Rob, where are you, Rob? Community's really feeling like to be a vibe of the projects, all of them tonight, doesn't it? So what are you looking to hear from Claire?
Yeah, no, it does indeed. It's great to see all of these initiatives really being born out of passion from communities to see local change. So I'd like to know the question that I asked initially for this project too, which is, what difference will £2,000 make compared with £5,000? What more value will backers be getting? What incremental difference will that make?
That's a really good question. Claire, over to you.
So I think, obviously we've got to kit out the shop. There is quite a lot of work that would need to be done. And we need to put, obviously we'll be using as much by way of pre-loved furniture and equipment as we can. But obviously with the basics of money, we'll kit out the shop and we'll have something very basic. But if we have a larger amount of money, it's going to enable us to do more of the exciting projects that we have in mind. And it will also allow us to have potentially other equipment. So things like, we're thinking about, we'd like to be able to show films. So having some audio visual equipment would be great, and do talks and things like that. So it would give us that bit more money to play with. And also because we have lots of other ideas, so we'll be able to put some money towards getting some of those other ideas started up in the hub.
Brilliant. What a great answer to Rob's question. Thank you very much. Now we're going to hand on over to Jay. What's your question for Claire, Jay?
It's in a supermarket?
Is it a supermarket?
Well, yeah, we're still in negotiation.
I don't want to burn my question on that one. So, because I only get one, right? Thanks for mentioning that, Steve. So, incidentally, we run the Reconomy Center in Totnes. We have that space rent-free, and it's a pay-what-you-can kind of model. And it's for co-working and stuff. And I'd be happy to share more about it another time. But I'm interested in hearing more about how this is going to play a transformative role for Tiverton. So I think Steve kind of hinted at it when you say it's going to be in a supermarket in a big space. That sounds like there's huge potential. So I'd like to hear more of that vision.
Yeah. So we're looking at a place right in the centre of the town, and it's quite a big space. The hope is that we can. So. For us, it's important that some of the stuff that we still do remains free to the people who use it, because we want it to be as inclusive and useful to the population as possible. But at the same time, we realise there's going to be a need to be sustainable financially. What we're looking at is so far we've started to work on a business plan, and we've set ourselves up as a community enterprise so that we are in a position to develop this sort of stuff. And we're thinking about ideas like perhaps having a library of things. We could do upcycling, we could do some sort of refurnishing. We could be a base for things that already exist, and a place where organisations and environmental businesses could showcase themselves. So we're thinking of, maybe we could have a co-car hub nearby. We could, potentially have a space where eco startups could showcase what they do. Work with people like Exeter Community Energy to do. So that they can let the public know what they do and involve the public in what they do. So we've got lots of ideas, but one of the things we want to do in the very first instant is to actually consult with the community to see what is it that the community needs, what it is that they want, because then we can sort of develop a business plan that's based on, what we're able to sell and what we're able to, what services we can provide the community that they'll go for, because that's what will make us successful, really.
Another brilliant answer. It seems all of our projects have got incredible ideas, not just the ones that we're funding tonight, but the impact of what they're going to do afterwards is pretty insane as well. Now we're going to hand on over to Councillor Davis. What's your question for Claire, Councillor Davis?
Yeah, so this is for Claire rather than Steve. Now, Claire, you outlined somewhat about how your project will support Devon's climate and ecological objectives. What I'd like to know is how are you going to measure success?
Good question.
Well, I suppose one of the things is that we remain financially sustainable and continue to do what we're doing. I think the other is looking at how, because our idea is being a hub for other organisations, so it's looking at how those organisations are thriving within what we're doing. Oh, you've really got me.
I actually think you've answered that.
Difficult.
Yeah, Councillor Davis, you're getting a reputation. I think you're answered it really well there, because you sort of explained like a massive metric for success for you guys is to be financially stable, and that's the first thing that many businesses or community projects or anyone doing anything has to focus on, because then they can go on and do even more work.
But I think I'd just add actually also that I'd like to see, I think we'd all like to see that the community are the community are making changes, and I'm not sure of the exact metric of how we would measure that, Although we do actually use, we're part of the CAG Devon network, and we do actually use we kind of enter lots of data every year, and we do get figures on all the stuff that we've done. So actually we are already measuring that to a certain extent, but I think also long term it'd be that of the people of Tiverton, because that will make a big difference to the Devon Carbon Plan if all the people of Tiverton and all the surrounding villages have improved what they're doing to reduce carbon.
Fantastic. If this was the Dragon Den, we'd have been like, show us the stats from where you put in your data. Brilliant. Okay, well, judges, thank you so much. We are now going to throw you into a virtual private room, and you guys are going to talk about how you think this funding should be distributed to our 3 incredible projects. And you all know an awful lot more about them now than you did half an hour ago. So we're going to go and sit down and have a chat with the brilliant Grace from Crowdfunder. She's a coach, and she's going to tell us a little bit about crowdfunding, how hard it is, how joyous it is, and how good it is. Grace, do we have you here?
Hiya.
Hi. Hiya. Where are you? I can't see. Oh, there you are, Grace. Hi.
Hi, can you see me?
I can. I've got you now. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. And let's talk about the project's journeys, like each of them. How have they done? How has it been for you coaching these awesome people?
Yeah, it's been great. So they have been planning these projects for about 3 weeks, on top of all of the other things that they've got going on in their lives. Like they've all got jobs, they're all relying on volunteers, and they've all just done amazingly well. And then obviously kicked off last night at 7:30. Had to compete with the football happening, and they've still got loads of pledges in. They've still worked really hard. They've done so well. They've gone through all of the same challenges and the same ups and downs that a normal crowdfunder would go through in 4 weeks, but in a 24-hour condensed period. So it's been really amazing.
This is awesome. It's like, I've got to do this, Grace. Go England! I'm talking about the projects, absolutely, of course. Can you tell us, from your experience, now you've worked with hundreds and hundreds of crowdfunding projects, tell us what for you makes a successful project?
Yeah, sure. So one really important thing is the planning, like I kind of just mentioned. It's really important to just have that time to plan. All of these projects have really dedicated themselves to that phase of the crowdfunder. They have planned out what they were going to do in the 24 hours that they were live, which you would normally obviously do over 4 weeks. They've had some really like innovative ideas on how they can kind of like get engagement and get the pledges in. So that's been great. And then we've also seen some really great rewards, which is always a bonus on a crowdfunder. So I think Sophia's had oil paintings donated by local artists. Nikki's got gift vouchers. Anna's planting trees in a community orchard. And that's just like a few of a range of rewards that they've all got on offer. And then finally, the networking. So they have been calling and texting and using social media and having like live events just to get in front of as many people as possible, which has obviously paid off because they've done it all in 24 hours. So that's been really great.
That's amazing. You might have to just all hang around for a bit whilst I go and pledge on these projects, because I want some of those rewards. I do love a crowdfunder reward. It's Christmas tied up. Brilliant. Okay, and can you tell us a little bit more about your role at Crowdfunder, Grace, and the types of support projects get from Crowdfunder as a company as part of Back the Future, and a little bit more about the extra funding that's on offer for people?
Yeah, of course. So if you go onto our Back the Future hub, you are going to be connected to loads and loads of projects who are all tackling like society's biggest challenges. Myself, as a coach, I can coach you through the process. I can give you as much support or as little support as you feel you need. And then if you are feeling inspired by Sophia, Nikki and Anna's projects, and you want to run a Planet Positive crowdfunder of your own, and you're based in Devon, you can sign up to the Back the Future Climate Challenge. I think the link should be in the YouTube comments somewhere, but if it's not, we can definitely get it up for you. So this is an initiative that we're launching tonight. So 10 successful applicants will get the chance to win a share of £30,000 from Devon County Council. So all you need to do is tell us your idea and how you're going to be tackling the climate emergency. And 10 successful projects will get coached by myself and my colleague Bertie. And then they will need to go live on the 30th of August. So you've got loads and loads of time to plan it. And if it is something you're interested in, then definitely sign up, because these ideas could change the world. So it's not that that's like, not that I'm putting you on a pedestal, but they could. So I really hope you do sign up.
Grace, you're amazing. I love that powerful note at the end. And, you know, you just sort of said it, you've said it all really. And this is just the beginning for so many world-changing projects. Now, this is for everyone. You've all seen what can be done in 24 hours, and you're about to find out the entirety of what can be done in 24 hours. Imagine what you could do with 4 weeks and a portion of £30,000 towards your brilliant crowdfunding idea. So now's the time. I'm going to do this. Go to crowdfunder.co.uk/backthefuture/Devon. I did it. I didn't trip it up. Right, brilliant. We just, hang on, fresh in from the production crew here. The judges need some more time. So Grace, it's still you and me. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the crowdfunding process actually involves? What do people do? They're going to go and put their idea up. What do they need to do?
Yeah, of course I can. So it's a straightforward process, but it does require a lot of work. I think sometimes people might think that you can just kind of add your project to a website and then people will give you money. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. It requires a lot of planning. So you need to be thinking about who is in your network, who you can reach out to, what your skill set is, what skill set you might need to draw from other people. So if you maybe think about social media and writing and video editing and all these skills. So it's kind of like the idea that you'll be drawing on a crowd of people. So hence why we're called Crowdfunder. So like you need to think about asking, trying to get as many smaller donations that from a large crowd that build up to reach a fundraising target.
Amazing. I'm going to go a little bit off script here because I totally want to know, what's the most extraordinary crowdfunding project, Planet Positive, that you've seen? And now I'm putting you on the spot, but I just got to know, make it quick. I think our judges are ready, but what's really rocked your boat?
Well, when you say extraordinary, do you mean one that's like really bizarre, or do you just mean that
one that you really love?
I really loved the Seaspiracy one that's up at the moment. You can see that on, if you go to the Back the Future hub, so crowdfunder.co.uk, and then just /Back the Future. So they're trying to get, it's 30 by 30. So let me say this right. It's trying to get 30% of the oceans as no take zones by 2030. I think I've said that right because there's a lot of numbers in there. But please go on to the Back to the Future hub because there's absolutely millions of projects that you can look at.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Grace, thank you very much for your time. You're absolutely brilliant as always. And we are now going to head on over to our judges. It's all happening. Okay, guys, welcome back. You're all there somewhere. I know you can hear me. Now, this is the big nail-biting piece. Before you announce who you've chosen as the winner, can we please just ask why you chose that project, but you can't give away who it is. Oh, I'm getting some proper action going on from our production team. Oh no, they need more time. We might still have Grace here, but actually I can talk about crowdfunding. Oh no, we've got some questions from the audience. That's even better. I've got about 4.5 years myself in crowdfunding experiences. I'm absolutely obsessed with all of this, and I know the pain that all of our projects have been through. Well, actually, I can see all of our audience. Does anyone have a question for one of our projects, or for myself or Grace, the crowdfunding coach? You can wave your hand if you have a question. Somebody save me and ask me a question. No, you're all going to just sit there. Well, that's fine. Any questions? No. Dr. Lucy Loveday, come on, save me, help me out here. Lenovo user, where are you? That is a bit of a joke, by the way. On one of these events, I was looking for people's names underneath when they were doing a little dance, and I called someone Lenovo user, which is actually the name of their computer. But, you know, that was pretty embarrassing.
There you go. I'll help you
Grace,
out with the question.
Oh no, Dr. Lucy Loveday, she's saving the day, and I didn't call you Lenovo user. What's your question, Lucy?
I want to ask Grace, thank you very much. This is really, really energising evening. I want to ask Grace, where can we find, because I'm sure someone's looked at this, the top ways to increase engagement with a crowdfunding campaign? You know, what really gets noticed and what makes a successful campaign?
Oh, that's a good question. So to get engagement, it's kind of all about, I guess, working out who you're going to talk to and kind of when you're going to talk to them, and how basically. So if you think of a normal crowdfunder lasting for about 4 weeks, you want to start contacting your friends and family kind of as soon as it goes live, before it goes live, so they're kind of starting to pledge as from the get-go, and then you kind of go into the next layer of people, which might be like local businesses or your local community, and then maybe you'd keep going further, and then maybe reaching out to your local press, or depending on what you're crowdfunding for, you might want to go to like the national press, and just essentially just keep checking in and seeing who you've contacted, seeing who's pledged, and just keep going back to it, and just keep trying them, if that answers your question. We also have a social media hub, which you can find on our website, which has it's got like tips to how to use social media to get engagement, and it also has kind of like branded templates that you can use, so like Crowdfunder branded templates that you can use on your socials as well.
This is amazing. Grace, you've got so much knowledge. I love it. All the juiciness. Lucy, I hope that answered your question. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest, this hasn't happened before, but the judges are struggling to come to a decision. So there's still, I wonder what it's like in that virtual room. Do you think they're like, rah, in each other's faces and like properly getting like, I don't know, aggro? Like, no, this project. I'm sure they're not. They're all very nice people. But Grace and I are going to keep talking. And this is quite fun, actually, because you guys are getting way more entertainment than you might have signed up for. Grace, talk to me about have you ever come across a project that's too small for Crowdfunder? Is that a thing that happens? Can a project be too small?
A project can't be too small in terms of, I guess, any way, like it can't be too small financially or too small in terms of what the goals are. So we wouldn't kind of go through like the one-on-one coaching support that we offer with the bigger projects and the projects that are kind of benefiting wider society. So yeah, I guess like there are crowdfunders on our platform that are like only like a couple of £100. So no project is too small.
That's amazing. Well, there we go. So anyone who's got a small or a big project, they need to look at the Devon Climate Challenge Live. Now, the time has actually come. I'm going to repeat myself. You've already heard half of this. But thank you so much, Grace, for your time. And we have our judges back in the room. They've deliberated. They've done whatever. I'd love to know how that went. And guys, welcome back. So as I said before, we're going to make this very, very exciting. Before you announce who you've chosen as the winner, we're going to go around each one of you and you're going to ask you very quickly why you chose the project that's going to get the funding at the top, and you're not allowed to give away who that is. So that's quite tricky. Right, we're going to hand on over to Jay. You first. Can you give us a summary?
That is super tricky. Well, we had a great discussion, and it was hard to pick one, but it's great that all three are going to basically walk away with some money. So that's a very good thing. But the one that I kind of put my weight behind as the number one choice for me, and I guess is the number one choice for all of us, is a project that has some real transformational potential.
And you're going to leave it at that. That's very brilliant. Thank you, Jay.
Give it away.
It's so hard, isn't it? Brilliant. Thank you. And Rob, what are you going to say that can tease our taste buds? However you say it.
I'll try and be just as cryptic without giving it away as well. The number one from my perspective and for the other judges too was deliverable. So we believe that this money will make a significant difference to their operation and help to realise that transformational impact that it can have.
Brilliant. I get you. So funding well spent, like we said to Councillor Davis earlier
they're
on.
all great. They're all great.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of slightly bruised from the heavy judge wrestling that went on in the background, but it's all good. You know, what fantastic applause to everybody, really.
Oh, hey, we did wonder what you were doing for so long in that room, the virtual room, I might add together. Okay, brilliant. Councillor Davis, how can you be more cryptic?
It's difficult, isn't it? But I mean, the thing is, they were all absolutely amazing, and it's not just the people that we've seen today, but knowing there's a huge amount of people behind those projects who've been beavering away. There's a little ecological link there, beavering away, to bring to where we are now. And I've been updating the pages and seeing how much money's gone in. I mean, that just shows the wider support across Devon and presumably further away, where people think all these projects are so valuable. So the project that we all decided was going to come out top, we felt that it really was the one that demonstrated the best how it supported Devon's ecological and climate objectives.
Fantastic. Right, well then you get the honours, Councillor Davis. Can you please announce who has won the first portion of funding?
Well, really pleased on behalf of the judges to tell Claire that Sustainable Tiverton has become the top prize winner.
Oh,
many congratulations.
Yay! Hey! Oh, are we going to get some tears, Claire? Can you tell us how you're feeling?
Just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I'm now pleased to announce that your project has just increased by £5,000. Thank you, Devon County Council. That's brilliant. But you know what? I mean, we're going to leave you there with Claire's absolutely smiling, beaming face, but that's not the only prize money coming out this evening. Jay, are you there? Can you please tell us who the next project is that's received some funding in second place?
Yes. My mind has just gone blank, and it's the Earth Repair Shop. Sorry. is in good shape with 3,000 more pounds.
I said we get so. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is beyond our expectation.
That's just amazing.
Oh, you wonderful people. Well done. Congratulations. That's brilliant. How are you guys feeling?
Stunned.
Stunned, excited, amazed, thrilled.
Absolutely,
You know, to be honest, right, we really didn't think we were in the running, and we're just, you know, I know that sounds ridiculous. We're all on the same page. We're all going for the same thing, and whoever gets what is brilliant.
Yeah.
But we didn't expect that. Thank you, judges.
Thank you very much.
Really
indeed.
thrilled.
Yeah,
Thank you, judges. And now this also means that the Greenway project, £2,000 is heading your way for your incredible project as well. Woo-hoo! Woo, 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 woo. How are you guys feeling?
Oh, great to take part. Thank you so much. We have learnt a lot.
That's amazing.
Really, really interesting.
Thank you for your support.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're all absolutely fantastic, all of you. What a delight, what a pleasure to host this. And I've got to stop swinging on my chair, I'm getting so excited. So what an amazing evening. Back the Future Live, Devon has been utterly incredible. Thanks goes again to Devon County Council, of course, for being such a fantastic partner. It's really cool, really, like I'm a bit emotional anyway, but really emotionally cool to see these local grassroots climate change projects getting all this spotlight, getting all this awareness, getting the funding. Now, if you are inspired and you've learned lots, and we heard a lot from Grace, and we had a great question from Dr. Lovelace, I will remember at some point. If you're thinking of crowdfunding that's going to tackle climate change, then check out the Crowdfunder page. Our next live event is going to be with Portsmouth Council. And if you know a Portsmouth-based business or charity that needs an extra cash injection alongside what you raise from the crowd or what they raise from the crowd, make sure to check out the link on the screen. There should be a magical link there somewhere. Now, these projects have shown us what's possible through crowdfunding. And now I'm going to say it's time for you to make it happen. So you tell us your idea, you could get a slice of that £30,000 available from Devon County Council, and we encourage anyone in the UK to tackle, anyone in the UK with an idea to tackle climate change to give it a go. You've got the power to make a real impact. So I'm going to leave you all there. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for making it absolutely brilliant, and good night. Woohoo! I'm going to totally go around.